ve şiddet tutkunu değiliz.
Biz de zindanla da korkutamazsın.
Your country is in big trouble.
Teslim olmanın sınırı yok.
In a closed-door meeting, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan signals imminent PKK disarmament and lays out plans for a new phase of political process. Amid protests from the Druze diaspora and sharp human rights criticisms, Syria's interim president Ahmed Al-Sharaa al-Gilani meets Macron in Paris, marking a pivotal moment in Syrian, Israeli, Turkish, and Western diplomatic relations. The European Parliament has issued a powerful call for Turkey to deliver real judicial reform, honour ECHR rulings, and commit to democratic renewal. And authorities in Turkey suspend Ekrem İmamoğlu's X account amid legal controversies, protests, and debates over freedom of expression. Learn more with Medya News. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan has declared that the PKK may lay down arms today or tomorrow, signalling what he calls the beginning of a new era. Speaking in a closed-door AKP meeting on the 6th of May, Erdoğan said the government is ready to launch a post-conflict reform process. He pledged sweeping changes, including decentralization, local governance reforms, expanded cultural rights, and greater judicial independence, aimed at resolving long-standing Kurdish grievances. While cautioning that the transition will be difficult, Erdoğan told MPs that politics must guide the process responsibly, without personal exploitation. Legal packages are reportedly in preparation, suggesting serious groundwork for structural reforms. However, observers warn that trust remains fragile due to previous peace process failures. Although Erdoğan also discussed judicial investigations and economic concerns, particularly tourism pricing, insiders say the focus remained firmly on the post-PKK roadmap. If fulfilled, Erdoğan's pledges could mark a turning point in Turkish politics and human rights. But critics remain wary, urging the government to match its promises with real, inclusive action. Syria's interim president, Ahmed Al-Sharaa, formerly HTS leader Al-Gilani, made his first major European appearance on the 7th of May, meeting French President Emmanuel Macron at the Élysée Palace. The visit marks a key step in easing sanctions and resetting Syria's international relations. Macron voiced support for Sharaa's agreement with Kurdish-led SDF forces and praised efforts to stabilize Syria. Sharaa also confirmed indirect talks with Israel, mediated by the UAE, as part of broader diplomatic realignments in the region. However, the visit triggered protests, especially from the Druze diaspora, who condemned the government's failure to protect minorities. Demonstrators denounced Sharaa's past and recent massacres reportedly linked to HTS-affiliated units. The US has issued Sharaa a 3-month deadline to expel foreign fighters, respect minority rights, and normalize ties with neighbors, conditions for any formal recognition. While France positions itself as a key broker in Syria's future, human rights groups remain skeptical, warning that without real reform, recent progress may be short-lived. In a pivotal move, the European Parliament has adopted a strongly worded resolution on Turkey, calling for sweeping democratic reforms and greater respect for human rights. Backing the European Commission's latest progress reports, the resolution passed with 367 votes in favour, 74 against, and 188 abstentions. Lawmakers sharply criticised Turkey's democratic decline and demanded action on long-standing issues, including judicial independence, civil liberties, and minority rights. One of the most striking elements of the resolution is its explicit reference to imprisoned Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan. His recent Peace and Democratic Society message was hailed by the parliament as a rare opportunity to revive dialogue and resolve the decades-long Kurdish conflict. MEPs urged Ankara to launch a political process that includes Kurdish representation and societal reconciliation. The resolution also condemned Turkey's refusal to implement key rulings from the European Court of Human Rights, particularly in the cases of political prisoners such as Selahattin Demirtas and Osman Kavala, calling this defiance a breach of its legal obligations. While the parliament welcomed Ankara's new judicial reform strategy, it warned that only deep structural changes would restore faith in Turkey's democratic institutions. Despite its criticism, the resolution reaffirmed Turkey's strategic role as a NATO ally and key regional actor. However, MEPs made clear that future EU cooperation must be tied to concrete democratic progress. The parliament pledged continued support for civil society and independent media, viewing them as critical to Turkey's democratic future. Authorities in Turkey have blocked access to the X account of Ekrem İmamoğlu, the jailed mayor of Istanbul and presidential candidate for the opposition Republican People's Party. The block, confirmed by a legal notice on the platform early Thursday, restricts his 9.7 million follower account within Turkey, citing a court order. İmamoğlu has been imprisoned since March following mass protests. Despite his detention, his account had remained active, with recent posts calling on supporters to join a rally in central Istanbul. His final message before the restriction read, "Come with your diploma. We meet tonight at 8:30. Turkish prosecutors allege the account was being used from prison to issue directives, including calls for boycotts, that could harm the economy and judicial independence. The Istanbul Criminal Court of Peace approved the block, pending trial. The Directorate for Combating Disinformation defended the move, claiming the posts endangered public order and were not directly authored by İmamoğlu. However, opposition figures were swift to condemn the decision. CHP MPs replaced their own profile photos with İmamoğlu's and launched a social media campaign denouncing the block as politically motivated censorship. Ali Mahir Basharur, CHP's deputy parliamentary leader, declared, "Arrests, shutdowns, threats, you cannot silence us." The move has reignited debates about freedom of expression in Turkey ahead of a politically charged summer.
Medya News Daily Review.
Biz burada şiddet tutkunu değiliz.
Biz de zindanla da korkutamazsın.
Your country is in big trouble.
Teslim olmanın sınırı yok.